The last couple nights we've been here at Bear Glacier Provincial Park, and yesterday it rained all day. It was in the 40s, so we just turned it into an inside van day. But the night that we arrived was absolutely epic. You got to check out this video. Holy shit!
Did that just happen?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's insane. What did we just... We're hearing crackling. And we're waiting to see what happens now. This is crazy. I keep hearing cracking sounds. We just saw an avalanche in BC, Canada. And Pete couldn't care less.
Now we found this spot on iOverlander, and there's no like entrance booth or anything. It's just a highway that's going over to Stewart, British Columbia, and then just across the border to Alaska is the town of Hyder. And we're gonna explore more of that today.
One of our first nights here in BC, we saw 4 bears in 40 minutes. We were driving through golden hour, so that's key. But since then, we've only seen more. So we saw one while we were FaceTiming with his mom and dad. I was holding the camera while he was driving, and we were talking to them, and all of a sudden I was like, "Oh my god, bear!" And I turned it around, and she got to see it. His mom was watching, and it was pretty cool that she got to see a bear run across the street live. I didn't get the camera up in time. Thought I did, but it didn't hit, like it doesn't start until after it was already ran across the road. And then 2 nights ago, we saw a grizzly and her cub, and it was huge, and its face was all weird. I say weird because I don't know if it was like snarling, like his face was all like crunched up. It was weird, and its mouth was open, so she was angry. She was huge too.
That was the closest we've ever been to a grizzly.
That was the closest we've ever been. We were in the car, thankfully, but they were just out in the middle of the day, like no special time or anything. It was just out, and it was a little scary. So Pete will always be wearing his leash. He will not be off off leash anymore. Usually when we go to like remote areas, we'll just take the leash off. He just roams around and he comes back, but not anymore. He will be strapped to one of us at all times. So yeah, it is definitely bear country, and it's really exciting for the animal lover and me to be able to see them. Again, hopefully all encounters are when we're inside risky.
We've made it to the town of Stewart, British Columbia. This is right on the edge of Alaska as well, and we'll be checking that out a little bit later. Oh. Cruising into the town of Stewart, British Columbia feels like arriving at the edge of the world. Nestled at the head of the Portland Canal, this town is a stunning blend of ocean fjord and towering rugged mountains. As we walk this historic boardwalk, it's a moment to take in the sheer scale of the wilderness that surround this tiny, resilient community. And the story of that resilience is perfectly captured right here at the Stewart Museum and Historical Society. This building is a treasure trove of artifacts, history, and incredible stories. Inside, it's clear this town was built on gold. The exhibits here tell the tale of the famous Premier Gold Mine, which wasn't just a local operation, but one of the largest gold and silver producers in the world at its peak. For decades, the wealth pulled from these mountains fueled the entire community. It's hard to imagine the sheer grit it took to extract so much from this remote and unforgiving land. And to keep that mining operation and the town safe, they resorted to some pretty extreme measures. The museum has one of their howitzer cannons, which was used to intentionally trigger avalanches. It's a very dramatic solution to a very serious problem here. But it wasn't just about the gold. These artifacts, from daily tools to personal belongings, show the lives of the people who made this rugged wilderness their home. They were pioneers in every sense of the word, and they even found time for some fun. This baseball jersey and trophy from the Stewart team is a cool reminder that even in this harsh environment, community and a little bit of leisure were incredibly important. Of course, this whole area is a wilderness paradise, and the taxidermy here really drives that home. The sheer number of animals that call this place home is astounding. And it's a world that Hollywood has taken notice of too. The final gallery here showcases some of the famous movies that were filmed in and around Stewart and Hyder. You'll recognize posters from major films like Insomnia and The Thing. The isolation and the stunning, often foreboding scenery makes it the perfect backdrop for thrillers and sci-fi. It's a town that's both a hardworking mining community and a surprisingly popular destination for movie magic.
We went to the Stewart Museum, and I didn't really know what to expect. I figured it was like, we'll just go check it out. They have a really wide, expansive selection of artifacts that they've had over the years. They have like everything from that time period of when they were mining here. And there's not one particular one. There was a couple waves of different mining that influenced this city, this town. They were like up to 6,000 people, and now they're about 400 people. So there just keeps being waves. So that's kind of cool. We learned a lot. I didn't know that they had snowshoes for horses. That's cool. And weird. Crazy. It was pretty cool though. And then talking to the people that work there, we got some insights on where to go to see the animals. So that's where we're headed next.
We visited Fish Creek in mid-June, hoping to see grizzlies, but as you can see, the salmon weren't running yet. This observation site is a crucial spot for watching bears feed on the salmon run. The best time to visit is from mid-July to early September, which is when the chum and pink salmon are running and the bears are here to feast. The drive up to Salmon Glacier is a real adventure in itself. Starting from Hyder, it's a roughly 25-mile gravel road that's definitely rugged and has some steep sections. On the way up, you'll actually pass several old gold mines, which are reminders of the area's rich history. We couldn't make it all the way to the top because of the snow blocking the road, but even so, the scenery on the drive is absolutely breathtaking. It makes the rugged journey worth it.
We've made it to an epic viewpoint. This is where we're going to be staying for a couple nights. Just outside the town of Hyder, a dirt road that goes up past some gold mines that are still in operation. You're going to get up to Salmon Glacier, and there's viewpoints going all the way up. Where we're at the very end of the road where we can get to because the snowplows haven't finished for the season. It's still late spring, soon to be summer, and you can't go all the way right now. We're going to end up sleeping here for a couple nights because this is one of the best spots that we've ever been able to stay at. Well, it's been a couple of days. We've stayed here for 2 nights, and this has been such a great experience, just being able to sit at the top of this incredible glacier. It's just, I don't think we'll ever be able to experience something like this again. And you're able to just hang out in the van, look out the window, see this scenery. This has been so great. But today we're going to head back down the mountain. We're going to cross the border back into Stewart. I did hear that the border crossing does ask you a few questions, even though it's, you're just crossing into the town of Hyder. But we're gonna cross over and start making our way north. Well, I opened up this garbage can to throw away our garbage. Didn't see this. Oh my God. This guy got caught up in there. Ugh. This poor guy. Well, after a couple of incredible days exploring the wild towns of Stewart, British Columbia, and Hyder, Alaska, it's time to say goodbye to this epic landscape. The views, the history, the sheer remoteness of it all, it's a place that truly gets into your bones. We're now making our final descent back down from the glacier, taking in these stunning mountain vistas one last time. But the open road is calling. From here, we're officially turning the van's nose north and setting our sights on a new destination. The Yukon. It's a place we've been dreaming about, and the feeling of heading into that vast northern wilderness is starting to sink in. We're heading into what feels like a whole new level of remoteness, where the roads get a little longer and the towns get a little farther apart. The scenery is going to change dramatically. We're leaving these coastal glacier-carved mountains and pushing inland towards the immense boreal forests and sweeping valleys. We'll be looking out for everything from moose to black bears, and we'll be keeping our eyes peeled for those classic northern landscapes. The roads can be a bit of a mixed bag up there, so we'll be taking it slow and easy. This is the kind of journey that makes you feel like a true explorer. There's something about heading north into the great unknown that just feels right. So stick with us because our Yukon adventures start now.